Hey guys, this is Philly before the intro, and I just want to quickly add onto this video that I have made a suggestion, which I'm going to pop up on screen now, in the official Blox Discord, in the suggestion channel. It's really easy to find. I really hope you guys can go there and upvote this suggestion if you agree with what I said. It'd be super useful. If we can get this suggestion to 20, then it will be looked at by the owner and it can be sorted. So hopefully we can have this issue out in the way and dealt with, but I'll let you guys get into the video. Make sure you go do that. See you guys. Hey guys, Philly here, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about Drain and Lord Destroyer as a game pass. Is it worth it? Is it good in update 10? But yeah, let's get into this. So I've been trying out Drain here and there in update 10, but it is very bad. It definitely needs some buffs, or needs to be reworked as a completely whole thing, because it is really bad at the moment, and I'll kind of explain why it's bad. So in update 8.5, the way the skill worked was it would drain and absorb 35% of a target's current maximum health, right? So if a boss had a ton of health, you would do a lot more damage, right? If a boss had lesser health, you would do less damage to the boss, because it was a percentage-based damage ability. Now, what they had decided to do in update 10, as a way of kind of nerfing the ability, is they had decided to sort of remove... Well, first of all, they had decided to put limitations on some of the bosses. So you cannot no longer use Drain on 3 bosses in the game. You can't use Drain on Jigray, you can't use Drain on Almano, and you can't use Drain on the Great Droid. Now, that is completely fine, but what they did to the actual skill was not fine, however. So what they decided to do to the skill instead, if we come over to here, and look at Drain, it now drains and absorbs 35% of the target's max health. That's fine, right? But now the damage caps at the amount of your maximum health, So you'll never actually be able to deal a true 35% maximum damage unless you use Drain on a basic mob NPC, right? Which is very silly in my opinion, right? So what I mean by this is, because you have to be in Lord Destroyer, the actual Lord Destroyer form, to be able to use Drain, putting you at a disadvantage based on health and damage. So if we come over here to the modes and we look at Lord Destroyer, you can see it has 18,000 health, 1800 energy, right, and a power level of 90. So if we were to cross over to here and come all the way down to the last form in the game, right, you can see here that we lose a 2,800 health, a ton of energy, and obviously we lose a massive power level because it's not nearly as good. So if we look for the 90 power level, this is where we fall, right? And Fallen Demon Saiyajin, right? So we're very far down the line. These are all the forms that are better than Lord Destroyer at the moment, right? That's a lot of forms that you're missing out on. So you must think, oh well, Drain must be pretty good, but it's clearly not, because if I was in Lord Destroyer, my maximum health is about 64,000, maybe a bit more with Fusion. Actually, I think I do have Fusion on, yeah. That is with Fusion. Not the best Fusion in the game at the moment, but that is relatively close to what yours will be maxed out. If you go into Potential Unleash, you gain a bit more health, but not a whole heap more, right? So I would only deal a maximum of maybe like 70,000 damage at a complete cap, which is, you would think, oh, 70,000 damage, that's pretty good. Well, not really, because you have to think that it has a minute cooldown. So the problem with that minute cooldown is that in 4 tri-beams, I can use about 4 tri-beams, around about maybe a little bit less than 4 tri-beams, like just under, in about a minute. And I don't know if you know this, but 4 tri-beams is going to do about 300,000 damage, or like 250, something ridiculous, right? It's a lot of damage with a tri-beam, right? And that's one skill as well. So, and Tri-Beam's free. You don't have to pay for Tri-Beam. You don't have to pay the absolutely ridiculous 1,999 Robux tax in order to get Drain, or in order to get Tri-Beam like you do with Drain. So there lies the problem, right? You pay a ton of money, which in my country is about 35 Australian dollars, is a lot of money. So I don't know how that exactly translates to other people's countries, but I'm sure it's not cheap either. But you pay this insane amount of money for a form that only realistically will help you at the start of the game when you need to get prestiges or rebirths, however you want to think of it, right? That is the only reason Destroyer will be any good to you, but outside of getting prestiges and rebirths, this form is complete and utter garbage, and same with the ability, and definitely needs to be reworked. And by some miracle, if one of the devs or the owner or some sort of person that can sort of get this changed is watching this, I have a couple ways of fixing the ability that I would love for you guys to listen to, and I just want to hear what the general people think as well in the comments of how this would affect them. If you don't have Drain, yeah, your opinion doesn't really matter that much, because obviously you haven't used the ability. I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm only talking to people really here that have the actual form and have used the ability in Update 10, because obviously they have the knowledge on it, they know what it's like. But anyway, this is how I would fix Drain. I would keep the damage the same, I'd keep the cooldown the same, I'd keep everything about it, the limitations, all of it. All I would change is being able to use Drain outside of Lord Destroyer. This is one simple fix that would make the skill good again, make it viable in pretty much any person who has Lord Destroyer's actual, move set. All this would change would be a bit of the damage. You would obviously have a bit more increased damage because your maximum health would go up in the best form. Well, not by a whole lot, just a couple thousand, right? It was a couple thousand extra damage, which is alright, you know? But that's not the main point, right? My point is that now we wouldn't have to use Drain in the terrible form that is Lord Destroyer, right, compared to the max form. So we wouldn't have to be set back by it, you know? It would be okay. And because most of the people already have like a stun move on their equip, we would just have to remove that, and you wouldn't have to worry about the limitations on the Great Droid or Jigray or Almana. It wouldn't be too bad either, and I think it would make the skill a lot more viable. Obviously it wouldn't be perfect, it definitely deserves more justice than that, but that would be a good way to quickly hotfix the ability and make it half decent again. Now, other ways of actually making the ability good is reverting the skill back to how it was. Now, you could revert it back to how it was. It was very overpowered back then, and I think it could probably do with a little bit of nerf. I'd say bringing it down maybe 5% to 30% damage would be pretty good, and you could even remove the healing off it. I don't think many people would care that much, but that would definitely make the skill half decent, or even bringing it down to like 25% would make it good again. But definitely, I think it needs some changes, needs to be updated, needs to be fixed, because at the moment it is completely worthless of a skill. I don't see much of a point in buying Lord Destroyer anymore, as I said, outside of the prestige option. But guys, tell me what you think. If you have the skill and if you have the form and you've been using an Update 10, let me know what you guys think about that, and I will see you guys next time.